All right, it is 4:30. We'll go ahead and call the September 6th meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Chad Mincer. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thanks for this day, Lord, and continue to bless us as we look over the citizens of the city and continue to make wise and smart financial decisions for the city, Lord. Continue to bless each and every one of us as a city, Lord, and as a nation, Lord. Continue to bless us each and every day. In His name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh. Here. Tony Space.
Here.
Adam Townsend.
Here.
Amy Cruz.
Present.
Frank Stevenson.
Here.
Chad Mincer.
Here.
Mayor, we do have a quorum.
All right, our first order of business will be the approval of the minutes from the August 15th, 2022 meeting.
The minutes of the August 15, 2022 meeting was held in the City Council chambers. It was called to order by Mayor Kevin Cotton with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilmember Frank Stevenson. The roll call, we had the mayor and all city council members were present. We also had approval of the minutes of August the 1st, 2022 was approved. We had approval of bills and payroll was approved. We had a council committee reports from tourism. We had a motion to approve repairs to restrooms at City Park, which was approved. We had a motion to approve $400,000 for Fourth Fest was approved. A motion to approve $50,000 for additional events was approved. We also had a motion to approve $22,500 for the YEA fencing. That was approved. We had a motion to approve the air show, but that motion failed. We had a motion to approve $10,000 for the beach bash at airport, which was approved. We had a motion to approve $65,500 for Deck the Park. That was approved. We had a motion to approve $31,000 for the updates to Elmer Kelly Stadium. That was approved. We also had council committee reports. We had a budget committee reviewing potential funding resources for the West Knoll sewer. We had department reports from our fire department and our police department. We had a resolution to surplus the lot at 454 Woodson. That was approved. We also had a resolution to accept the bid for the 2022 single drum wire puller, which was approved. We accepted a bid for the West Knoll Sewer Interceptor Project. We had a tourism board appointment, appointing Elizabeth Odom to our tourism board, and then we had an adjournment.
Are there any corrections to the minutes from the August 15th meeting? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll have the minutes from the special call meeting of August 23rd.
The special called meeting on August 23rd at 2022 was held at 8 a.m. in the City Council chambers. It was called to order by Mayor Kevin Cotton. We had the pledge and invocation by Councilmember Tony Space. We had council members Tony, Adam, Amy, and Frank Stevenson, and Mayor Cotton present. Absent, we had Misty Cavanaugh and Chad Mincer. We had first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Madisonville providing for the issuance of its general obligation bond, Series 2022, the proceeds of which will be used to construct additions, improvements, and enhancements to the city's water and sewer system, setting forth the terms and conditions upon which the bonds are to be issued and outstanding, ordering and providing for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary in an amount sufficient to pay for the interest on and principal of the bonds, and providing for public sale of the bonds and the application of the proceeds thereof. And then we had an adjournment.
Are there any corrections to the minutes of the special call meeting for August 23rd? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll move into the approval of bills and payroll.
We have the total general fund of $320,405.55, total sanitation of $131,819.64, total electric utility of $113,614.61, total water filter of $370,162.16, total wastewater collection and treatment of $144,586.53. We have an estimated biweekly payroll of governmental of $56,440, police of $137,815, fire of $138,959, transportation of $36,808, cemetery of $8,342, park of $19,239, sanitation of $42,044, light fund of $89,633, wastewater treatment of $17,466, wastewater collection of $30,698, water and filter of $51,082, for a total estimated biweekly payroll of $628,525.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills and payroll?
So move.
Do I have a second? Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll have a council report.
Committee report of the Annexation and Zoning Committee met today and is recommending to the council to forward a proposed text amendment to the zoning ordinances regarding planned unit development. And so I would make a motion to the council that we indeed follow through and forward that proposed ordinance to the Joint Planning Commission for its review and disposition.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have department reports. You'll notice in your packet that there is a zoning and permit from the Zoning and Permit Office, monthly activity report. If you have any questions, Debbie Todd will be more than happy to answer any of those questions for you. But there's some pretty good information. Total building permits equaled up to $876,966, with a total permit number of 13. So that's for the month of August. And then there's also new business licenses that are in there.
Not on that. Sheet.
On this
Sorry.
one?
No, the one before that one. You skipped it. Okay. I'm sorry, you got, huh? July and August was in there?
Looks like a total of 28 new business license for the month
Of July?
from August 1st to August 31st. That's what I'm showing.
This is July's and then that's August. I'm sorry, I don't know why yours is not in your
It says
packet.
from 8/1 to 8/31.
Yeah, there's one right before that one.
Okay.
There we go.
So for the month of July, I'm sorry, is 28. And then for the month of August, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many? 19?
Thank you. Sorry
Thanks,
about
Chad.
that, Mayor.
Yeah, I have two bills and payroll.
Okay.
All right, next any questions about business license, building permits? Again, if you do, feel free to reach out to Debbie Todd. She'll be able to give you specifics on any of those if you have any questions. Next, we have an ordinance, first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 96 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Madisonville relating to property tax.
Yes, Mayor. This is, the ordinance is for our property taxes, and I'm only going to read what the change is. The property taxes have stayed the same. All taxes herein, I'm going to section 96.05. The due and delinquency dates. All taxes hereunder shall be due and payable on or before November the 30th, 2022. A discount of 2% shall be allowed on the tax bill for general purposes if paid on or before October 31st, 2022. and those tax bills remaining unpaid after November the 30th, 2022 shall be declared delinquent and shall bear interest at a rate of 12% per annum until paid. And then if you go over to the section 96.08 on the ad valorem tax rates for 2022, the rate will be, for real estate, stayed the same. It's 0.122 for each $100 of assessed valuation, and the tax rate for motor vehicles and watercraft was 0.15 for each 100 of assessed valuation. The tax rate for all other tangibles should be 0.1657 for each $100 of assessed valuation. None of those changed. Only the thing that's changed is the date.
All right, there'll be no vote on that one. If you have any questions, we'll entertain any questions on that. It does keep us in the lower than 80% of the rest of the state for our property taxes, so we do have a significantly low property tax compared to the rest of the state. Any questions? If not, we'll move on to our second reading of an ordinance, the ordinance to the City Council of City of Madisonville, Kentucky, providing for the issuance of its general obligation bonds, Series 2022.
And I'm actually reading the summary on this. The notice of enactment and summary of bond ordinance, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, providing for the issuance of its general obligation bonds, Series 2022, the proceeds of which will be used to construct additions, improvements, and enhancements to the city's water and sewer system, setting forth the terms and conditions upon which the bonds are to be issued and outstanding, ordering and providing for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary, an amount sufficient to pay the interest on and principal of the bonds, and providing for a public sale of the bonds and the application of the proceeds thereof. As required by KRS 83A.060, Section 9, I hereby certify that an ordinance bearing the above title was given first reading by summary by the City Council of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, at a duly meeting of said City Council held on August 23rd, 2022, and was given second reading by summary and enacted by said City Council at a duly convened meeting held on September 6, 2022, and that the following is a summary of such ordinance prepared by Charles S. Musson of the firm of Rubin and Hayes, Attorney at Law, Louisville, Kentucky. Said ordinance authorized the issuance in one or more series from time to time in the aggregate as principal amount not to exceed $18,200,000 of City of Madisonville, Kentucky general obligation bonds. It authorized each series of bonds to be sold by public competitive sale and establishes the general terms and conditions of the sale for each series of bonds. Authorizes the Chief Finance Officer of the city to open the bids and accept the successful bid on behalf of the city for each series of bonds, and authorize the mayor and the city clerk to execute all necessary documents, instruments, and obligations of the city in order to issue a series of bonds. Orders and provides for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary in an amount sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds. Provides for the appointment of a paying agent and bond register for the bonds, and provides for the appointment of a bank as the fund depository. A copy of the full text of said ordinance is available for public inspection during the hours between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday from Kim Blue of the City Clerk of the City of Madisonville.
We do have a representative here with Rubin and Hayes. Charles, if you don't mind to come up to the podium, state your name and your position.
Thank you, Mayor Cotton. My name is Charles Musson. I'm with the law firm of Rubin and Hayes out of Louisville, Kentucky. We're a municipal bond counsel firm, and our job is to help cities and counties and municipal governments and water districts and whatever to finance projects that they need. This proposed bond issue is for your interceptor lines, your sewer interceptor lines, and some additional improvements to your treatment facility. The ordinance itself, as it said, I think as Kim pointed out, allows for an issuance of up to $18.2 million worth of bonds issued in various series. As you need the money, you will issue it. Your chief finance officer kind of sets the tones and sets the dates on when the sales are going to be done. It's all done by public competitive bid. It's actually all done electronically now. And the best bid on those bonds, on that series of bonds, will be the winner of those bonds. As I said, they're issued in series or tranches, and that's to take advantage of a couple of things. Number one, we designate these as qualified tax exempt obligations, meaning that they're eligible to be bought by banks. And that means your supply of potential bidders is bigger than it is normally. You have more people out there who are wanting these bonds. To get designated as a qualified tax exempt obligation, you can issue no more than $10 million of tax exempt bonds in any one calendar year, not your fiscal year, but your calendar year. You've had a $4 million loan put into place this year, so you've got the ability to issue up an additional $6 million in the remainder of this year, and then you can issue another $10 million next year to keep them bank eligible, and even go into a third year if you need to. The kind of process from here, if the city decides to pass the ordinance tonight, the next thing that will happen is the city will go through a rating process with rating agencies. City's got excellent credit. You all don't have any debt. That, you know, it's almost un-American, you know, that places don't have debt anymore, but that's basically you guys. You're very strong financially. So we're expecting a very good rating from the rating agencies, which means your bonds are going to attract a lot of bidders, or more bidders than would normally happen, and you'll get very strong bids. As I said earlier, the sales dates are actually set by the CFO. He'll do that along with your municipal financial advisors to find the best date to kind of when there's not as many sales going on, various things like that. And from the moment that you get your rating on the bonds to the time you actually get the money, it'll be about 30 days. Okay, so that's kind of the process. That can be squeezed a little bit just depending on various things. In addition, these are general obligation bonds. They're backed by your tax dollars. The city of Madisonville probably has the ability to issue about $90 million worth of general obligation debt. And as far as I'm aware of, the only thing you've got out there is the $4 million bank loan and whatever you decide to issue under this. And so that's basically the story of the bond ordinance. Be glad to answer any questions. The full $18.2 million will have to be issued within 2 years of the date of the passage of this bond ordinance. So that, and if it doesn't happen, it means you just come back and have another bond ordinance at that time. But we put an end date on it just for city council purposes. That a new city council comes in, they need to know, you know, when they have to get things done. And finally, one other thing, the ordinance does allow for, if rates all of a sudden skyrocket, the ordinance does allow for short-term interim financing to take place that you can then take out with a long-term bond issue down the road. So it kind of does it all. It's all wrapped up here in one ordinance. Okay.
Any questions for Charles or for Corey?
The amounts no more than 10 million per year, just to make sure that this is clarified. That is per calendar year, correct? Okay.
By December 31. And that is a federal IRS law, part of the tax code.
So when we will get a rating back from Moody's?
What is the date?
Rating call on the 15th.
So about 10 days afterwards, 2 weeks, depending on holidays that may show up in there. Okay. They're a little slower than they used to be.
We have no idea what interest rate we're looking at until we get the rating, until we kind of go out for bid that day, which obviously I think in the bond ordinance it states that we can reject any bids. And so if
Absolutely.
they did come back higher, we could kind of put a cap on that.
And things have changed a little bit in the last 10 years. Everything is done electronically now. Literally, there is a place where all potential bidders go. They sign up to bid the day before. So you may know how many bidders you may have. You may have 5, you may have 6, you may have 3, whatever it is. You'll know who those are. The day of the bid, they have up until the very last second to post a bid. You know, if you say bid's got to be in by 11 o'clock, at 10:59 they can post a bid. And the moment the bidding is stopped, you'll see what those bids are, and it ranks them in order, as well as what each individual interest rate is for each individual bond. So, good. And then you do have the rest of the day to reject it. or let me put it a different way. You have the rest of the day to accept it. If you don't accept it on that day, it's rejected, okay? So, okay. Probably a better way to say it.
You know what the current spread you're seeing in some of these bond markets are? I mean, I know I can look at 10-year treasury note, but it's completely different for municipalities. I know a lot of municipalities that I've looked at, either around the country or in the state of Kentucky, we're looking at 2.5 to 5%, somewhere around there.
You're in a very strange economic environment right now.
Yes.
Okay? And it's what we call an inverted yield curve. A 3-year bond anticipation note will bring a higher rate than a 10-year bond, okay? So, I mean, the yield curve looks like that. And it's beginning to flatten a little bit, so it's changing. You know, it's hard to say. We sold some bonds at the end of August. One was a 15-year bond and was about 3.4%. That's the overall rate, not, you know, basically the bond yield. At the same time, we sold some 2-year notes at 290. So you can see it's really a strange environment. You got 15-year bonds that are only you know, I mean, basically 50 basis points higher than a 2-year note. So, but you know, it's hard to say. You know, right now, I would say Madisonville with the good credit you all have down here. We're talking about a 20-year deal, Corey. Yeah, I think you're looking at probably 20, 25. You could be looking at anywhere from 3.5% to 4.5%, and that's probably being conservative. Don't hold me to that. If I could predict that,
I know attorneys don't like to use hard numbers.
Right, but if I could predict interest rates, I wouldn't be up here tonight. So, you know.
Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the ordinance relating to the issuance of its general obligation bonds, Series 2022?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions? Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, I'm going to start with the ordinance sponsor, which is Frank Stevenson,
Yes.
Chad Mincer,
Yes.
Amy Cruz,
Yes.
Adam Townsend,
Yes.
Tony Space,
Yes.
and Misty Cavanaugh.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Very much, Mayor Cotton. And
Next, we'll move on to new business. Since we have moved past the bonds, now we need authorization to sign the necessary paperwork for funding of the West Knoll Interceptor project.
The City of Madisonville has allocated funding in the 2022-2023 budget for the West Knoll Sewer Interceptor project by debt service, and whereas the City of Madisonville proposes to enter into a contract with Compass Municipal Advisors to provide the best loan rate through debt service bonds, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council agrees to authorize the mayor or his designee to execute any and all documents and all necessary paperwork for the completion of the above said project.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2022-35 relating to the paperwork of the funding for the West Knoll Interceptor project?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions?
I guess this is where I've got a couple questions. Should this read to authorize the mayor, chief financial officer, and city clerk, since you guys are both signing off on those bonds?
This is not for the bonds.
This is not for the bonds. This is to contract with Compass Municipal Advisors.
Gotcha. Do we know their set fee?
We do. We have sent that information to everyone. You've seen that through email. We had 3. Do you want to mention those? We had 3 different bids and quotes on those, or quotes, not bids. I know that it was in Compass.
This
This was
most
considerably lower. Do we have any other questions?
I've got concern that we don't have the rating back or whatever, and then also we're not putting a cap on what the bond is gonna be until we get it back.
The cap on the bond is 18.2 million. And this is to move forward with Compass on the rating and the process of the bond. This
never
is the
come-
bonding company that we're gonna be using.
But it never comes back to council. And the bond ordinance states that it can go up to 7%, so I guess I have concern on that.
You've already approved that ordinance, so now the ordinance, or the resolution that's in place now is to move forward with Compass Municipal Advisors to start that process.
It's null and void if we don't do anything with it. And so I guess my concern is we don't have the rating back and we don't have,
You're not gonna get the rating back until you hire the advisors to move forward on the rating. That's what Compass Municipal Advisors are gonna do, is get the rating back.
but city council won't approve the sale, correct? It'll never come back after this?
I don't understand why it would come back.
Unless you want to repeal it, I mean.
The bond ordinance, as it states, it goes all the way up to 7%. And I guess I have concern that we're gonna sell a bond for 7%. I mean, I really like his numbers of 3.5 to 4.5 with our current bond market, but, I mean, there's no coming back before city council before, I mean, the train starts rolling.
The chief financial officer has the right to reject any and all bids, so if they come back at 7%, we just reject them all and advertise them at another date.
Which is kind of what our jobs are, is to make sure that we're looking out for the financial interest of the city. And, I mean, that's what you all have kind of set in motion at this point. But we can't move to the next step unless we enter into a contract with the company that's gonna make that happen, which is what this resolution is for.
I guess my only concern was that it wasn't coming back again once we got the rating and stuff like that. I thought it would have to come back again to city council, but I guess I was wrong there.
We can't influence the rating, it's gonna be what it is, based on whatever our financial solvency gets to be, but you can't sell the bonds till you have
You
a
get the rating, and we can't get
And-
the rating until we hire the company to put it out.
If we got a weird rating or something like that, you could always look for other financing options.
If we have an issue with the rating, then we're definitely gonna come back to the council to say, hey, this is what's happened, like we have in any other project that we've had an issue with. But as you heard from the attorney, he doesn't anticipate any issues with the rating, considering that our debt service is up to $96 million. And this project is for $18.2 million. So, any other questions? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have a resolution to accept the bid for surplus property at 454 Woodson.
Whereas the city of Madisonville opened bids for a surplus lot located at 454 Woodson Drive on August 23rd, 2022 at 9 a.m. And whereas the city of Madisonville received one bid, it was from Alan Davis in the amount of $3,500, and that was the only bid received. Now therefore be it resolved that the city council accepts the bid of Alan Davis in the amount of $3,500, and that bid is attached from Alan there.
Do I have a motion to accept the bid for the lot at 454 Woodson?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have a resolution to declare lots as surplus property.
Whereas the city of Madisonville owns the following lots, it's lots 54, 55, and 56 in the Rio Vista subdivision on Woodward Street. Whereas the city of Madisonville requests to dispose of lots by means appropriate according to KRS 82.083. Now therefore be it resolved as follows: the properties known as lots 54, 55, and 56 in the Rio Vista subdivision on Woodward Street are now declared as surplus property, and the city is authorized to advertise the lots for sale and dispose of the properties by means according to KRS 82.083. And those are those lots that are.
Do I have a motion to approve the resolution to declare the lots 54, 55, and 56 of the Rio Vista subdivision on Woodward Street as surplus?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have a resolution to accept bids for Phase 1 of the West Knoll Interceptor Project.
Whereas the city of Madisonville advertised bids for the West Knoll Sewer Interceptor Project Phase 1 to be opened on August 12, 2022, and whereas the city of Madisonville received 5 bids as follows. They bid it by base bid and then the non-wage bid. Cleary Construction was $3,750,749 for the base bid, and the non-wage was $3,626,010. Latrell and Sons was $3,650,270, and then the non-wage was $3,650,270. Norris Brothers Excavating was $7,196,860.40, and the non-wage was $6,306,460. Scott and Ritter was $2,688,500, and then the non-wage was $2,500,390. Twin States was $2,446,588, and the non-wage was $2,391,134. Whereas Twin States was the lowest bid received, and it met all the specifications that was required. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council accepts and awards the bid to Twin States in the amount of $2,391,134 for the non-wage scale.
You want to read that one again?
I'm sorry, $2,391,134.
Good job on getting that back down there.
I'm trying, I'm sorry. For the non-wage scale, $2 million.
Do I have a motion to accept the resolution to accept Twin States bid of $2,391,134 for Phase 1 of the West Knoll Interceptor Project?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in-
Twin States?
They are,
I think I have their bid on here. Let me see if it shows. There's probably is the last bid.
close to, Monroe. Here are the ones that did the Bartlett Avenue project and came in under budget, under time, and had great reviews from the water department.
Say their bid, but it doesn't have an address.
And if we've used them before, that
Yeah,
just
they're-
wasn't a name that I was familiar
They're a
with.
company that we've used before on some other projects, so.
Where they were from.
Do you know where they're from? Twin States? I think they're from Monroe County, maybe. Somewhere in that area. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? We'll find that out for you, but we've used them in the past.
As long as they know where Madisonville is. That's
They do, and they've done a really good job. Again, they've come in under budget and under their time, so. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have an item for discussion. It's permission to bid for the fire station modification to purchase diesel exhaust systems and fire alarms for all stations.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'd like to request permission to bid for a fire station modification, be to put a source capture diesel exhaust system in each of our 4 stations, and also fire alarms in each of our stations. Currently, Station 1 is the only station that has a fire alarm system. And, you know, it's important to have the fire alarm systems in there anytime we have people sleeping, our employees sleep in the building. You know, anything can happen at night, especially a fire outside the living quarters of the building, such as an apparatus catch fire, and they would really have no way of knowing it. On the diesel exhaust is got some very bad carcinogens in it. It's the cancer rate for the fire service is through the roof, and it's the long-term exposure. You know, the diesel trucks are started inside the building. The diesel exhaust gets everywhere. They all through the living quarters. They even take it home with them. It gets on their clothes. They take it home to their families. Long-term exposure to diesel exhaust has lung issues, respiratory changes, and has been linked to bladder cancer and lung cancer. So we did receive a grant for this station modification. We received a total grant of just over, the total grant was $209,408. It was a 10% match, so the federal share of that grant will be $199,436.19. And out of that money, all the city that we would have to pay is $9,971.81. So be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Chief Dunning? If not, do I have a motion to allow permission to bid for the diesel exhaust systems and fire alarms for all stations?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any additional questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. They are, Twin States is from Herman, Kentucky.
What was it, Herndon?
Where Herman, Kentucky is.
Mount Harmon. It's Mount Harmon.
Mount Herman.
It says My Harmon on here, so Mount Harmon. All right, next we have an executive order, 2022-5, relating to the appointment of Dean Sheets to the Madisonville Hopkins County Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors.
That Dean Sheets is hereby appointed to the Madisonville Hopkins County Economic Development Corporation Board, and that the term of Dean Sheets shall be for 3 years, ending on September 6, 2025, and that Dean Sheets shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the city of Madisonville.
All right, with that being said, the last order of business is an adjournment. Do we have a motion?
Move.
Do we have a second? Have a motion and a second. Thank you all very much.